for joining me. I'm Rita Hickman. I'm a body-mind expert and a shiatsu massage therapist. But what I really do is help women handle their mental and emotional health so that if they are in toxic relationships, and most empathic women are, most codependent are, if we are struggling with the tension of having a highly sensitive nervous system, maybe we've got people in our lives who are very toxic, and that's going to be happening. I want to talk today about how to prepare. One of the biggest problems as empaths and codependents is that we end up always feeling like you're behind the eight ball, like you can never get ahead, like things just keep coming at you one after the other, and your nervous system can't quite catch up. You can't quite move forward, and you end up feeling stuck. And this is especially true for women who've been in toxic relationships for a long time. You know, that being around people who don't manage their emotions very well, what that means is that you as an empath, as a codependent, end up being the target. It's almost like a whole different world that exists. The world that exists when you're healthy, and the world that exists when you are struggling with your emotions and you don't know how to handle it. They really are two different worlds. And if you can start to change and take control of your emotions and of your feelings soon, the sooner the better, then you're going to be ahead of the game. You're going to be so much further forward than everybody else, and you're going to be able to survive. Because you see, empaths are the canaries in the coal mine. Empaths are the ones who feel things happening before they happen. We're future thinkers. We're thought leaders. We're looking ahead because we've got this sensitive nervous system that's constantly feeling the world around us, almost like we're spiders that are sensing the energy of the web. That's what being an empath means. And if you're in a narcissistic relationship, there's a very good chance that you are highly empathic, because narcissists love to be around empaths because they have a sensitivity, because they can feel when things are off. They can read people. They know what's going on. Empaths are future thinkers. Empaths are thought leaders because they can feel the ripples that are coming down before everybody else can, because we can feel it in our bodies. We can feel it in our thoughts. We're sensitive to what's going on with the people around us. And this gets confused a lot. It gets very confused because sometimes most empaths don't realize that they're sensitive. They just think that there's something wrong with them. They just think that they're broken or unlovable, or that it's all their fault, that if they just try harder or work harder. And that's what a narcissist does. They make someone feel, an empath feel, as if they were just more, if they could just be more or do more, that suddenly everything would be okay. But that's just not true. That's just not true. Because in the real world, you know, people are interconnected. We affect each other in so many ways. We affect each other in ways that we don't even realize. And empaths notice that. We're ahead of the game. We know that someone can control how we feel. We're not blind. We're not stupid. We're able to feel the things coming down the pike, and what's coming down the pike, and you know it, is this pandemic of grief that's going to happen. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling stuck or trapped in your relationship because it starts to get worse, or relationships that you used to be able to handle are starting to get worse, this is the time. You need to be proactive. You need to step into it. You need to step into taking care of yourself first. So how do we start to shift the tide? Because if anyone's going to be impacted by this pandemic of grief that's going to come next, it's going to be you. It's going to be you, the empath, who's already familiar with trauma, who's already familiar with difficult situations, who's been living it sometimes for 20, 30, 40 years with people who have mental health disorders. You're narcissists. And that's why you are perfectly positioned, because you can see it, you can feel it. You might not know what it was, but your tension is rising. Your feelings are rising, and you know there's something coming. So don't put your head in the sand. It's so easy to put your head in the sand. It's so easy to forget and pretend that nothing is happening because all we want to do is somehow get back on a good track. Maybe if we ignore it, it will be over. But that's not what's going to happen. The world is changing, not just in your relationship with the narcissist, but in the whole world. And this is your time. If you've ever wanted to get ahead, if you've ever wanted to stop feeling like you're being victimized and victimized and victimized by people who don't know how to handle their own emotions, now's the time to make a change. During the pandemic is one of the best times because everything's sixes and sevens, everything's up and everything's down. You can take all those pieces and you get to gather them to you and you get to create something new. How many families are now spending less time together because they need to protect one another? This is your chance. This is your chance to make a change because the pandemic of grief is coming. So how do you do it? I know I sound like a doomsday sayer. I sound like, oh my God, Armageddon. As you know, our inner worlds can feel like Armageddon. Our inner worlds can feel like World War II. And if you're already living that because you live with a narcissist, then it's time to take a step back and be the thought leader that you really are. So how do you do this? You start making your health, you start making your sanity, you start making your well-being the highest priority. The thing that shifts isn't suddenly your life has changed. That's already happened, and you're still in a lousy, toxic relationship. The world has already changed, and you're still here. It's about changing our inner world, changing how we live our lives. Right now, you probably live your life sacrificing more and more and more for the people around you, giving more because they're asking more, because they need more. And because you're empathic, you tend to have more of these skills. You've been living the life of sensitivity and overwhelm since you were very small. And you already are prepared. You've been studying energy healing. You've been studying healthy habits. You've been studying psychology. You've been looking into energy work. You are prepared. And if you don't start acting on all the things that you know to be true right now, what's going to happen is you're going to struggle more. But you can make a change. You can make a change. You can change what's going on in your world. You can change what's going on in your life. And the way you do that is by starting to care about yourself. Starting to realize that no one's going to rescue you, but you are perfectly situated to rescue yourself. Now is the time because this grief is going to come and you're going to feel it and your inner world is going to get more and more tense and you'll struggle more with anxiety and you'll struggle more with depression and you'll struggle more with that rage that's a fire in your belly. And even if somehow you're able to keep a lid on it, you're going to feel it in your shoulders, you're going to feel it in your head, and you're going to feel it in your back, and you're going to feel it in your stomach. And you're going to feel like there's nothing you can do, like you're trapped in this feeling of pain, but you're not trapped. You don't have to be trapped. And right now, I'm pushing you, and the world is pushing you to take this change, because now is the time. If you're going to start taking care of yourself, now is the time to take care of yourself before the winter comes, before the fall comes, before everything gets, even more stressed out. You've got the power to make this shift. You've got the power to start taking that time for yourself. Because no matter what anybody says, you can work and work and work until you burn yourself out, and it's not going to make that big of a difference. What changes is when you start taking those baths, when you start going for those walks, when you start standing up for yourself and saying, no, this is the end that I'm doing, even if you're scared. When you start finding other women and other people who are there with you, who can be there with you when you're feeling scared or stuck or alone, or when you're feeling frustrated or overwhelmed, or when you're by yourself at 2 a.m. You have to start realizing that we as empaths are the ones who need to join arms, link arms with each other and start moving forward. Instead of me against you and you're an enemy and I'm an enemy, the empaths know the only way forward is by coming together and taking care of ourselves and each other. We've known that from the beginning. But we ended up in relationships naturally, because this is just what happens, with people who are toxic, with people who take advantage of that. But the gift is that they push you. They push you to be a bigger and a more healthy and a more balanced version of yourself. That's why you have a toxic person in your life, because it's pushing you to take that next step to being a healthy, happy person, even if it's been 20, 30, 40, 50 years. You deserve it, you need it, and the world needs it. So start doing those things, that self-care, that you know you have a guilty, little worm inside of you that says, I can't do self-care. I don't want to be judgmental. I'll go do it. I say these things all the time, and people catch me and they say, sounds like you're a little judgmental about that. And I said, yeah, because I feel guilty, because I'm thinking differently than the way my parents thought. Because I'm thinking differently than my parents thought, I'm feeling guilty and ashamed. And that's what needs to stop. We're in a different world than our parents were in. We're in a different world than the generations before us were in. And we need new technology. We need new choices. Women can't afford to stand back and just let the world continue to railroad them, because we were taught to be, seen and not heard. We were taught that our voices don't matter, our opinions don't matter. And that's wrong. They need us to lead. They need us to lead, because if we don't lead, then we're going to feel dysregulated. We're going to feel torn apart. We're going to feel conflicted. It isn't even about saving the world, even though that's so important. It's about finding our own peace. And the only way you're going to find it, as you become more and more sensitive to the tension swirling around you at this time, in the next emotional pandemic that we're going to have, when you start learning how to really manage your own emotions, how to take them back, how to love yourself, how to reclaim yourself, how to respect yourself, you're going to weather this just fine. And when you wake up at 2 a.m., you'll know how to get back to sleep. And when your shoulders are tense, you'll be able to relax them. And you'll be able to walk into difficult situations and not be thrown off balance. This is what we need you to do. This is what you need to do. Because we do have this next pandemic coming, this next pandemic of grief and pain that everybody's shoved down, which you learned a long time ago. You can't keep shoving pain down, because otherwise it explodes. We have to be the role models and the leaders, and you can. So it starts very simply. It starts by putting yourself and your needs at a very high priority. It means that you put some things aside and come back to them when you're fresh. It means when you're upset in your head, you do something different. That's when you take the bath. That's when you go for the walk. It means that you schedule time with yourself. Like I scheduled time with women last night. We do a 90-minute virtual vacation where I take you through all of your energy centers, all of your glands and your organs, and we nourish them, and we bring them back into balance, and we bring our body back into balance, and we clean up all those old emotions that are pulling you in different directions. When you make a date with yourself once or many times a week, you'll start to find you're able to put healthier habits into place. You're able to handle more, because it's not about feeling victimized until we're torn apart. That's a very religious sort of point of view. Suffering. I was raised Catholic. Suffering was the most valuable quality you could have. That doesn't work in today's world. If you spend the time suffering, you're going to end up broken apart into tiny little pieces, unable to do anything at all. You already know that, because you've got a narcissist in your life that's been pushing your buttons for years. Now's the time. If you do it now, you'll be ahead of the game. If you do it now, you'll walk through these next layers of people unpacking their grief in a healthy way. You'll be able to be a leader. You'll be able to help the people that you love. You'll be able to help your family. It's not about getting rid of a narcissist who's pushing your buttons. It's about realizing that they were practice for living a good, healthy life. And if you take the opportunity and start to say, I see, I need to handle my tension more. I need to handle my stress better. I need to be good to myself. That's where it starts. When you're good to yourself, your world changes. And then the worlds around you change. It starts with you, as they always say. All the gurus say it starts with you. So what does that look like? It looks like listening to music you love. It looks like setting aside date time with yourself to listen to podcasts or things that make you feel inspired or uplifted. It means that for once, once a day you take time and you let yourself be quiet, that you start putting in the habits that make you feel good, because you're going down the wrong path if you're letting yourself feel worse and feel torn apart. Now's the time. Now's the time to do it. And I hope you join us. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that you'll be a part of the empaths who are changing the world. Because if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, there's a real good chance that you're highly empathic, which means you're feeling everything, you're knowing everything, and you get to work your way through this instead of feel like you're being victimized by it. It's time to take all that vibrant, passionate energy that you know you have as an empath, because you're sensual and passionate and you love life and you love beauty and you love color and you love nature. That's you. It's time to set that woman free. The one who loves the world, the one who loves color and clothes and jewelry and hair, and who loves to be outside in nature, and who loves to be kind to people, and who loves to feel her body and smell essential oils and touch things. That's you. That's the sensual, passionate, vibrant, sexy you. And she is the woman that will lead us out of this. Not the one who people pleases, not the one who gives everything, not the one who sacrifices, not the martyr. They won't have anything left. Only the passionate, vibrant, sexy, exciting, empathic women. That's you. That's you. Those are the women that will make the change. Those are the women that will lead the way. And the benefit of it, when you start bringing her out and being more authentic with her, the benefit of it is that you finally take your life back. You finally feel peaceful inside of yourself. You finally know what it's like to feel good and whole and healthy. That's the benefit that comes from that. So take a bath today, go for a walk, do something you love, but start taking that step towards being emotionally and mentally healthy, because you want to be ahead of the game. You don't want to keep being victimized. You want to be ahead of the game. And if you want some help with it, go to my website, inspiremassage.com. We've got tons of resources, or reach out. We'll do a strategy call. I'll teach you some great tools to help you stay balanced and grounded no matter how stressed you are. And let's start reversing this. Let's start reversing the pain and the suffering. Let's start turning it into opportunity and excitement and joy, just like when you were a little girl, before all those bad things happened to you. That's who you were. That's who you are. And that's who we want to bring out into the world. Okay? So I hope you have a great week, a happy Monday. I'm so excited you're here with me today. And reach out. I love you tons. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.